Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to run video and I'm going to post it. Because then I'll have a copy and I just won't let it go. Alright, check this out, right? Everybody always says to me, why am I so angry? Right? I'm so angry, right? Because, like, remember when you was, like, starting kindergarten and shit, and you're like, yeah, I want to go to school and be a sucker, right? And you bring home shit to your mom, and it started your file. Each year, you get the public to do say something about you in your file, right? In your permanent file, record, whatever you call it. The cops keep a record, that's another record. This person keeps a record, that's another record. This person keeps a record, that's another record. Each one of them records they create an account. So it can be accounted upon. So the account can be accounted upon. When you have an account, and whether it be in good standing or not, if you ever ran a business, you know you can create an account. That account can get a tax liability. That tax liability can be borrowed upon before the tax liability is actually created. Okay, let's say that the school borrowed upon you. Let's say that everyone you've ever met that's in a company, corporation, LLC, whatever the fuck you want to call it, unincorporated, whatever the fuck you want to call it, borrowed upon you. They get the you enter the principal into the account. You enter the principal into the account. They take the principal amount and borrow 80%. So let's say the principal amount at creation is 1 million. We're using it for refraining numbers, right? At 1 million. Made through 12 years of school. It might be at like 20 million. 20 million at 30 places. Because each place is taking the actual number, the actuary number, principal amount, vendetta, on the carryover basis, carry them slaves over here, and borrowed against you. And you think you have a credit score. This is how much, you know what credit score is? How much you can lend to a lender. How much EWE can lend to a lender. How much can EWE lend to a lender? Let's call the fucking EWE holders and find out. Hello, Treasury. Can this EWE lend me something? Oh, they said you're clear. We got the authorization. Send $2 million. That was to borrow $100,000. You, EWE, want to borrow $100,000. YOU takes the account into the system. EWE sits there and goes, do you not want me so much? I don't care what color you are. I don't care what nationality you are. I don't care anything about what you are. It doesn't matter. You're human. They don't see color at all. They will pick the worst athletes and go harvest their organs. Doesn't matter what color the athlete is. They'll pick the worst athletes in the best leagues. They don't seem to care. They'll go as far as to go, okay, I see you want to borrow $75 billion. And you have a guy in his 40s living in a town that has mills. Oh, he's been rolling in the mill for 20 years? What do you think happens if we take the mill away from him? Barney, cut the contracts for the mills on the whole eastern seaboard. Let's see what happens. This is a bet. We're going to bet he kills himself. Yeah, I'm betting 70 million certificates that this guy kills himself. And you think reading is stupid? You think that any people are, Do you know how money is created? Like a teacher gets a tenure. That means when that person gets hired for that position, and they sign the contract till tenure, because then you get a WIPA waiver, and you can resign. You can reorganize the contract if you understand contracting, and when you sign that contract, they take that contract over there to the Federal Reserve and go, "Can you print this? Can you print 8 times this, 10 times this?" And then they borrow against it. And can you print this much more? Because we're going to borrow against it. Because they pulled an insurance policy out on betting if you're going to make it to tenure. High case quality is men. Men that are older than 25, they ain't going to make tenure probably. 35, you're going to wait. How long are you going to wait around to get retirement? That's another 15 years. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? Now, because really, in all honesty, you should have 20 years public service before you start having children. As a male. Female, you know what I mean? Back in the day, it was real young, but I think that's weird. You know what I mean? I think that's all weird, because I wouldn't want that to happen in my family. That's weird, having some 80-year-old guy go, time for me to have children with your daughter. I'd be like, fuck you. You know what I mean? But you should have a time of public service, because you have no idea what the world's about. And you have no idea how to work your slaves. And they give you one. They don't call them slaves anymore. You're not allowed to use that word. But your ECM is a slave to your motor, to your car. So when you press the gas pedal, the correct amount of balance operates the motor. Correct? That's a slave cylinder. Or it's not really a cylinder. A slave cylinder is more like tranny. But whatever. It's a slave module. A lot of car parts they do call slave modules, slave cylinders. They call them slaves straight up. Because they aren't living. Or they aren't living in the existence that we live in. So we call them that. But nobody likes to hear this shit. Nobody wants to hear this shit. Because they don't want to think that not many people have life. But this is a choice by people to have this life in your hands. This is all a choice by the people that are that are living right now. It was all your own choice. You chose all the plots to make this happen. Nobody wanted to stand and fight. Nobody would have fought the right way. I would have never fought the right way. I'd have went tooth and nail right up their backside, stabbed them right in the back of the neck. But that's me. I fought every day all my life, all the time. I still fight all kinds of shit that gets in my face. I'm fighting it. There's no way. And then people want to say, well, you're stupid. You're dumb. You don't know what you're talking about. I do know what I'm talking about. I can prove it by reading books. The same books that they read. If they want a statute and code, I want to know why they're playing that statute and code. A lot of people say, well, they don't pertain to you. You're right. I don't put them in my paperwork anymore, but I still want to know where they're getting their advocacy from to say that I'm in operating a vessel in their commercial realm. How, why? You know, nobody wants to be an electoral voter. You want to give your vote away. Do you know that when you go to unregister somebody who dies voter, they don't unregister that? Why would, come on. And if they're in a cemetery or a crematorium, there's a meets and bounds to that. There's a meets and bounds to every cemetery plot. You know, a cemetery gives you a location for an address. It's like a P.O. box. You get an address far away. Here's one you go. Buy a cemetery plot. You can buy hundreds of them all over the place. Have one in every fucking country on the planet. Because if they can capitalize, if they can control, contain, conform, capitalize, and get it out to the people, they will. And they can keep it in their little IBM registry system. Which it isn't IBM anymore, but the natural creators of registering and registries and things were statistical average machines and abacuses and things like that, so. You know, the old shank, and you have that little car with all the punching holes in it. You know, like you should go to motor vehicle. Well, I gotta go to motor vehicle, register a vehicle. I'm gonna get there at 8 a.m. I'm gonna be there till 5 p.m. I remember sitting in inspection lines and inspecting my car. Trashed by the time we got there. Drunk as balls. Beer cans everywhere all over the car. Trash because we had to sit. It's the end of the month and you know how inspection is. I don't think there was this many people. There was more people on the earth then than there is now. Because I don't wait in lines like that. There's no line like that no more. Used to wait in line all the time. Everything was a line. You used to go to motor vehicle and they'd be like, you got your paperwork filled out. Well, there's no place you could go get the paperwork except motor vehicle. You go 2 days early, get the paperwork, come back. Who's doing that? Nobody did that. Bringing up money when you go down and put pizza while I have lunch. I don't get the world today, man. And nobody pays attention to what anybody's doing. Nobody pays attention to words they use. Nobody pays attention to anything. And they're trading you. And they're trading about the largest values off of you. And what are you receiving in return? Sounds like slavery to me. Because they ain't paying you nothing but paper in their system. It's their system of paper. You ain't trading with nobody else with nothing else. You don't have your own manufacturer. Most people don't even get themselves out of the tax record. They don't even care. They just roll right through it. They don't even look to see what the state's doing or the county's doing or boroughs doing or the town's doing with their tax records and how they're hiding this immense amount of tax preclusion and all this bullshit. They buy properties for $1. They take over properties for $1. They say there's $1 change hands, but really it should be 20. But they use $1 just to spit in their face because nobody goes and checks it. That's why they sell your house when you're in foreclosure on a courthouse step because they can't do it in a building. It's criminal. It's a criminal act to sell a house in a building that isn't theirs. But on courthouse steps, we sell anything we want. Under the Brooklyn Bridge, we sell anything we want. On the Brooklyn Bridge, don't sell it. What the fuck? Nobody gives a shit. Look at every fucking water tower. Look at the cell phone towers on. Look at abandoned buildings all over the place and look at the amount of cell phone towers on. Who's collected that? Then you get in deep diving. Like, I understand the initial hit they got from the Twin Towers, but the amount of cell phone towers and bullshit that was probably on that building probably paid close to $500,000 a month just in that. They might have got 26 trillion when the towers fell, but they could let all that shit sit the way it was and be just like it was. You know what I mean? But we put 9/11 on fucking what's his name's watch. The governor of New York is Kennedy's cousin. What the fuck is his name? He was in the cage, the stage car for fucking. Kenny got shot. He was in the passenger seat when the Secret Service turned around and shot that dude. Why do you think Jackie O was crawling over the back of the top? Why do you think she was crawling out of there? What are you going to do if somebody's shooting you from an angle you don't know? You going to crawl out of the car? No, I'm a duck. You know when you crawl out of the car? When the guy shot the guy sitting next to you was sitting in the passenger driver's seat. When the guy sitting in the driver's seat, you're going to try and get away. I'm getting out of here. This guy is shooting motherfuckers. Because when you're getting shot at an angle you can't see, you're going to duck. Where's the habit? Like, you don't know where that shooter is. You want to get low and see if you can figure out where he's picking you off from. But when he just reaches behind you, goes, pow! Point blank range, you're going to try and crawl away. Hope the guy don't shoot my butthole. You know what? It's one of the most horrible games we ever played. We ever played punching buttholes. Like, you'd be doing something and you bend over, you're flooring yourself, or you bend over, somebody come up and punch your butthole. You know, it's hard to poop through a bruised butthole. It's one of the hardest things in the world to poop through a bruised butthole. They just come up, pow! Punch your butthole! Fuck that shit. But anyway, people, and this world today doesn't aggravate anybody. You don't make no claims on nothing. You put nothing on the record. You tell the secretary nothing of what you're doing. You don't go to the attorney general when they're harassing you. You don't even ask the solicitor of your town if these people can walk at your door to solicit something. And I don't mean Jehovah's Witnesses. I mean solar panel guys or whatever. And I like all them guys. I think they should be allowed. But they should, if there's a hierarchy, then they have to follow the hierarchy. Don't just send some strangers in or I'm going to come collect nickels from everybody. If I had billions of dollars, I would get it all in nickels and I'd have it dumped in my front yard. Because how many fucking nickels are you going to get away with, and how far are you going to have to go to spend all them nickels? Everybody going to know. Yo, you see that idiot put $16 billion in nickels in his front yard? Everybody, how far are you going to get? How many is 2 bags of nickels or 2 pockets full of nickels? You get $10. You're right, you couldn't rob me if you tried. You couldn't even shoot me. I'd be behind the nickels. Some hilarious shit, right? That's why Scrooge McDuck was a good dude. All that gold up in that big ass building. Go ahead, try and give me, motherfucker. I'm diving in. Ain't nobody getting nothing. What are you gonna do? Walk out pockets full of it? What, you gonna get 2 bags? What, you gonna take your front end loader and then go somewhere? Oh yeah, this isn't Scrooge McDuck. So get the fuck out of here. Everybody on the planet knows that big pile of money. The fuck out of here. That shit would spread like wildfire. You'd be famous like Jesus and not infamous like some stupid motherfucker. That's just crazy. And people don't want to listen. They don't care. People just don't give a shit. Like, oh no. Do you realize like I'm figuring it's 4 generations. It's 4 to 6 generations, somewhere in there. It depends on how large the family. Your genealogical ancestry is. Okay? Because if you came from families with lots of people, you could come back in soon. But it's usually like 4 generations and you're back. You're skinned up. You're skinned up and you're not even preparing for that. Like, it's to live to the future, not to live it now. Well, you live now and prepare for the future. Because you're coming back. You just set these motherfuckers up with the right shit. Anything you want, you get it to the 4th generation grandchild. And I guarantee that you will get it. When you read it, you'll understand it. Gotta get it to that 4th generation grandchild. If you want anything out of me, out of my estate, because I'm going to give my estate away, you give this to the 4th generation grandchild. That's me. Give that motherfucker to him. And even if it ain't me, it's somebody in my family, so I don't really care. But you get it to that motherfucker. Because I don't want to start at 40 years old, 42 years old, figuring everything out and being like, oh, shit. And then having everything go, and things start coming to you like fast to where it's like drop you down to your knees. Like, holy shit, I didn't even know all that information. Like, it hit you all at once, like it was standing right next to you and it slave cylinder into you, like, holy Christ. And then I don't want that happening anymore. It should come in easy. It should be young. It should come in easy. I just don't understand people. You know, if they can't borrow against it that way, they're going to go and you're going to sign for it. They're going to put the money. They're going to take insurance policy out on you because the money's sitting in an account somewhere. And that account has no true account number. Like a CAF account has no true account number. It is a genealogical account. So sometimes they're splitting the gene pools, but not usually. Usually it's just a human account. And it's a big pile of money that they're creating bonds against or securities against or whatever. They're taking an insurance policy against that, selling that insurance policy for cash. Yo, man, go liquidate some assets, bruh. You go liquidate some assets. I take all these motherfucking assets over here and then liquidate some of this shit. Because they know they're gonna get paid out when you die if you die correctly. That's why you gotta wear a motherfucking seatbelt. Have you been taking care of anything in your life? Because we're coming to get you. Commerce. How are you doing tonight? As I look onto this world, I don't see a commerce in return. So that creates me a damage. Now I have the right for redress. And I can redress the security back on the carryover basis. I gotta get it carried over here. I'm gonna fucking carry it over. Nobody cares. And I sit around and I hear people go, I'll never have that, I won't do this, I can't, no money. You got money, you just ain't trying to requisition the forms for it. You're in it, you have the requisition for it. Don't you have an M.I.? As a male, I know you got M.I. Not all females do. Some females are not registered that way, but all males have an M.I. at 18. There's your registration fee. There's your quartermaster. There's your everything. Right there, M.I. Because in any paperwork you fill out, if it's a middle name, it says middle. And it never says name after it, just says middle. It says first or last, and middle, and first or last. Whichever it is. Never says it together. Names written all the way up here. Or entity acquiring for signing or whatever it says. And then it'll say first, middle, last, or last, middle, first. So you can't tell me the middle means anything but military identification. My uncle went in the service. He didn't have a middle name. He was just Nicholas, right? Just straight up Nicholas Ely. And they made him make up a middle name. He had to have an M.I. Sorry, you can't go into battle without an M.I. You can't. If you die, and we have to go to your house and tell your loved ones you died, we don't want to tell them that Nicholas died. We want to tell them that Nicholas L. died. It's your pawn. It's your slave. It's your slave. They made the account. You put the principal interest in there, and they borrow against it. And you can't touch it because you're dumb. Because you don't want to read. Because you don't want to learn anything. Because nobody on this planet cares. Dude, the real ID, okay, check this out. You know the real ID, when you sign that for that real ID, that ends your pleading. You have nothing, that's it, it's over, sorry. You have nothing left to say. You take what we give you or fuck you. What? You gotta look into what they're doing, dude. You gotta look into what they're doing, what they're saying. They say all this shit, man. And they write it down. Like, they know they're elected. When they're elected, they have to make notes. So the next election, that guy can take over or change or do whatever. Doesn't matter if the other guy can win or didn't win or whatever. Doesn't matter. It matters the reference points that they're leaving in and why they're doing it. You think they just say that shit for you. They say that shit for you. I don't know. I just figured, you know, like at some point in your life, like you can recontract. Like at 18 years old, you can go in to Social Security and not contract with them. Put an EIN number to your name, take the name back, and walk out. I don't access that name no more. I don't access that Social Security account. I don't want none of that shit. At 61 and a half to retire, you can access the account again. They're contracting with you. They say, here's the contract. Here's a motherfucking contract.
Hello?
Oh, I'm changing this. I need 300 million in one account over here, dumped off, and I need this. Here you go. Take that back to your superiors. Take that back to your superiors, bitch. Let's see what you got. I'll sit here all day if I have to.
Oh, it's a deposit?
Social Security's in a fucking... They was walled off before the virus. These are bank with walls, dude. They don't want you getting at them. I remember Mrs. Richardson fucking coming around the side of the counter when she took my paperwork in there to close my account, and she gripped that shit out of my hand. She said, I'll smile that for you. I was like, holy shit. Nah, that's mine. I couldn't get it quick enough. She already had it, and it was already filed. She already had time state stamp. Here you go. It wasn't that hard, was it? All you have to do is ask. 4 hours of fucking arguing. This is what your book says. Here's this, here's that, here's this. Well, but what are you trying to get at? I'm trying to get at, I want this to do this. But I don't understand what you're trying to say. Can I see your paperwork? Not until you agree that this is what your book says. She never agreed. She took my paperwork. Oh, man. Everybody got the fucking bug around me, dude. It's like, what the fuck? And these things are horrible. They really are. But whatever. There comes a point when you got to see what's going on. Is your life really that great and grand? Can you just drop everything and fly up out of here and go to any country you want to, any state, anywhere you want, just be like, I'm going to sit here for a few. Be here for like 2 years. Why not? What's holding you back? Are you scared or something? You know, they always make these videos or these commercials and shit to make the IRS look real mean. The Internal Revenue Service is your friend. You start reading their books and you start reading their codes, everything. Be going there, but what the fuck does it say right here? Right here, you can read on your phone, and you read on your phone. The words that you think you know what you mean, they're gonna be lit up blue, and they don't mean what you mean. You click on it and go, oh shit, that don't mean that. And, oh shit, they don't mean that. You know how many places you can enter? You know, all right, let's say you got 20 grand in debt. Let's say you're 20 grand in debt. Every one of those companies you owe money to, they got an account for you. Every one of those companies that's trying to get you to pay has got an account for you. The United States Corporation in 2 countries got an account for you. And it's all over the same 20 grand, and they're getting 10 times that 20. So if there's 170 places that you've been seen to hold an account for the same account the whole time, and they just keep adding zeros to it to make bigger account numbers for private banks to borrow against the money because you won't close the account. Because a closed account is left open for set-offs. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to do it. It doesn't matter. You got to close accounts. You question things. Gladly give you what you want. Hey, man, I cut you the check right now. Can you show me that you're a creditor in the United States? Can you show me that the United States Corporation gave your corporation the right to collect the debts for their corporation? Show it to me. Can you show me the trail of money that you went like this? Here's all my money, and I gave it to this guy, so you're out of trouble. I'll gladly pay you. But if you didn't pay him, and I didn't pay him, and he didn't lend nobody none, and this guy didn't pay nothing, but then all the people got paid, who owes you what? If nothing is borrowed, nothing is lent. I mean, I don't know. Did you ever go in a standard forms office and look at the standard forms you can fill out as an enlisted man or a civilian? There's civilian forms where you have a limo pick you up every fucking where you go. Private limousine service for civilians. I mean, did you ever go in the office and look at the forms? They tell you what they need on their forms. Did you ever call the DTC and ask them, what can I do with these numbers? Depository Trust Company. Where's your birth certificate housed? You think the state of New Jersey holding a certificate for 3 to 5 years or 7 to 10 years is getting full value? You're trading on lower levels. There's demons way up there trading that shit, man. They're trading that shit with shit that you can't even see the standing next to you. Make sure you do it right. Slap you in the back of the head, you motherfucker. Get up. Do this. You motherfucker, don't do this. You really think that piece of... I don't know, man. Did your mom get your placenta when she left the hospital? Did they do anything with that? You know what animals do when their placenta comes out? They eat it. It's supposed to be the best thing for the child and the mother. It's the quickest healing process there is. Nobody does that shit. That's cannibalism. No, it's not cannibalism. It's building eating, maybe. I ate the building my food came out of. What do you want me to do? Maybe. Even if you get it and bury it next to your favorite seedling that's becoming a tree, so you live the longest, hardiest life you can. Why wouldn't you? It should be a new meet or bound on your property. The meets are how many bounds you jump. La, 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 la. So if it's 3 bounds and I meet this tree that Mary buried her placenta at for Jack, And Nora and Johnny live in the house up the 7 meets up the hill. That's property bounds. They have meets and bounds. And then they have the government stealing it. And then they have the addresses of the government stealing it. Then they broke it down to a parcel. And then they got, what do they got? They got lot and block. They got book and page. They got title and security. They got insurance and mortgage insurance. And this is all off the same account that they're borrowing 10 times the value of the same number and calling it different accounts by adding zeros to the end of it and saying it's your name as the EWE because you're not being YOU. They are. They're the nominee because you aren't accessing the account. You aren't acquiring to the tastefulness of the routine. They're doing it, and you're the EWE. I guess nobody really cares because the little amount of people I see stretching their necks out is small compared to the amount of people I met that spend off cards that don't have no limits. To where we could go get $95,000 spent on some dumb shit one day and another $110 the next day. And who's paying for this? Yeah, card just stays that way. Oh yeah, keep rolling it out. We can share the women, we can share the wine. We done share. Can we share yours? Because we done shared all of mine. You need a card. You want one of the big boys. Little hills, big boys. Big hills, little boys. Just telling you, man, you need to run some of your numbers. If you get a number back on a piece of paper, there's an accounting. They're accounting for you. They're saying 176,843,000. Oh, 10 times the value. What'd you owe? $4,000? So 40 grand. So we got 40 grand out of him. Can you put it in his credit report that he doesn't pay his debts? I don't pay my motherfucking debts. You just took 40 grand of insurance and borrowed it off the policy you created by lending me the money that I shouldn't have to pay back because you scumbags used the money that my credit for the original money. So I was the creditor. Nobody sees that. How are you the debtor if they have nothing? What's a broker? Sound like you brokered me. I'd never call myself a broker. That's retarded. That's retarded. I'm a richer, if anything. Oh, I'm going to go talk to that broker and make him feel bad because I'm a richer. I'd rather be a dick. Goodbye.